When I first started developing an illness, I didn't really know who to talk to. I was kind of embarrassed to tell anyone what was going on. I thought they would think I was crazy or they would shun me. And eventually I did lose some of my friends. I had a job and I lost the job. And so I started seeking out help from counselors and doctors. I was even afraid to talk to my family members about it. And it impacted my life because I wasn't able to work anymore. I ended up on Social Security. And I had dreams and goals of what I wanted to do, and it just seemed like all of that was ruined. It was never going to happen again. Even after I started getting better as far as the symptoms with medication, I was still very depressed because I felt like I had no life. I felt like I didn't really belong. I just stayed home and watched TV and smoked a lot of cigarettes, and I had nobody to talk to during the day. There were many days that I didn't talk to anybody, and it was just me in the house. And so that kind of just made me feel even more depressed because I felt like I was just a lazy bum and just not useful in society. It just kind of it was like a vicious cycle. You know, the psychiatric symptoms had caused a lot of disruption in my life, and then after it was all said and done, I became depressed because of what had happened in the past, but then the depression caused me to lose motivation to do anything, and I thought, well, I'll never get a job again. I'm just, bound to live this way the rest of my life. So the fact that I had no motivation to do anything caused more depression, and so I just kind of went around and never managed to get anywhere. The first time I was scared that people would find out that I was going. And I remember the first time I was hospitalized, I told everyone I was on a vacation in Texas and that I had gone to see some friends that I went to school with. I wouldn't tell anyone that I had been in a psychiatric hospital. Eventually I became more open with some of my family because they were asking questions. Why are you not working? Why is this going on? So eventually it came out, but at first I was very ashamed. I didn't want to tell anybody what was going on. Mostly I had a counselor that I saw on a regular basis, and then I saw the doctors, and the doctors would kind of explain the medications to me, and at first I didn't want to take the medications, and so that wasn't that very helpful. But after I started learning more about them and trying a few, I found something that worked better for me, and just the doctor being willing to try new things actually was very helpful because some of the medications, the side effects were very difficult. One of them made me sleep like 18 hours a day, and even though I didn't have a lot of symptoms, I still didn't have a life. So that really wasn't working for me, and I wanted to try something else. And so being able to talk and say, I want to try something else, and the doctor prescribing something different was very good, very helpful. Eventually, I came to a point where I wanted to try to work again. I wanted to do, something with my life, but I was afraid to apply for jobs because I had this long period of not working, being disabled, and I was afraid, well, if they found out what happened, that I was in a hospital, they wouldn't hire me, and so I was kind of concerned about where I was going to go or where I would apply. And then my friend told me about a training that the Alabama Department of Mental Health was doing for a certified peer specialist. And the number one requirement was you must have a mental illness. I worked in the case management department. I helped people find housing and get food stamps, take them to the doctor. And I would also tell them about giving them hope like I had received myself. I would tell them that, things look bad now, but it will get better. And that I once was where you are, and that you can be where I am. That you don't have to live your life, destined to watch TV and smoke cigarettes. And so I would tell them what had helped me and what had worked for me, and encourage them to try to follow their treatment plans, and that way they too can have a better life, that they can do whatever it is they want to do with their life. The mental health center being willing to hire me helped me get ahead in life, helped me to get the job that I currently have. As after working here for a few years, I was able to build a work history. And when I applied at the Corps of Engineers, I wasn't applying as someone who hasn't worked in 6 years and been on disability. I was applying as someone with a work history. I quit smoking cigarettes several years ago, and actually it's been 5 years ago now that I quit, and I rarely watch TV anymore. I would tell them not to give up hope, to decide what they want to do with their life and work toward that. Everyone has different goals. Some people want to be a stay-at-home mother or father. Some people want to work. Some people want to go back to school. We all have different goals and dreams, and just because you have a mental illness doesn't mean you can't fulfill those dreams in your life. It maybe take a little longer, or you'll end up on a different path, but you could still get where you want to go. So don't give up hope just because you developed a mental illness. And don't think that if somebody is, constantly coming back, constantly having trouble, that they can't get better, they can't be helped, because they can. I know many people thought that about me, that I would never get better, that I was constantly coming back and causing more problems and more symptoms, but eventually, I got through it. And so I would say just don't give up on anybody, because they can too. You just never know.